Hi, y'all. Okay, so I have a confession to make. Y'all, I didn't really learn how to ride a bike till I was like 9 years old. And before y'all get to judging me, let me tell y'all the full story. See, growing up, I was the last of 5, not to mention I have only sisters, and plus they way older than me. So this means that 9 times out of 10, they didn't care what I do as long as my mama wasn't yelling at them. This means that I ran away probably 4 times, broken bones, and even ate a whole bag of sugar while my siblings were supposed to be watching me. But there was also one thing that I wanted to do. Ride a bike. On top of being picked in the neighborhood for not being the most athletic kid, I was also the only one who ain't know how to ride a bike. So I asked and I begged my mom and dad to buy me this bike, and luckily they came through. Now, who would have known that that hot pink bike would have been the highlight of my Christmas morning? But there was only still one problem. I still didn't know how to ride it. So Christmas morning, I looked out the window sad, watching all the other kids ride joyfully up and down the sidewalk. So this gave me confidence. This was the plan. I just needed one person to teach me how to do it. And of course, you would think I would run to my parents, but I didn't. I ran to my big sisters, who, however, It's okay. Teach me. But let's just say, when I finally got this one sister, she was the only one who was obsessed with her phone. I mean, she talked on her phone the whole way down the elevator, all the way to outside where we got to the park. I mean, she taught me a few times how to go along, but she didn't really help me because she was too busy worried about her phone. So I decided that I'm going to be determined and do it by myself. So I tried and I failed, and I tried and I failed until I was doing it. I was riding the bike. I shouted and asked my sister to look, but instead of saying, "Good job," like most people, she instead laughed at me for all the gear that my mama had forced me to wear. So when I looked back to see what my sister was laughing at, for some reason, I let go of the gears. I face planted right into the hot concrete, the bike flew in the air, and the hot sun being right on my back. Now you would think that my sister would run to my rescue like normal siblings, but instead, she looked at me and said one of the most blackest things I think ever. "Girl, you better shake it off, you all right?" So, fast forward. Now this next part may make you think, where are my parents? About 3 months later, I had the same brave idea to ride that same bike down a hill, thinking I was on Disney Channel and I was just gonna pedal along. But Disney Channel lied, y'all, because when I got to the end of that hill, I face planted into a metal gate, the bike flew in the air once again, and the hot sun hit my back. Now, when I got upstairs limping to my sister, hoping that she would tell me it's okay, she answered the door with the phone still in her hand and told me once again, "Girl, shake it off. You all right? Come on in this house. What you crying for?" So I gave up. I told myself, I don't even want to know how to ride a bike. I was 7 years old then. But on a random day when I'm 9 years old, this about 2 years later, my sister still got her phone glued to the side of her head. I begged her to take me outside. So I hopped on the bike. She still got her back turned on her phone, worried about whatever. And I just kept riding this bike and kept learning until boom, I was riding this bike. But this time, I actually put the brakes on the bike before I decided to look back. When I looked back at my sister, she had the phone glued to her head. I tapped her, and she was ready to say her classical line, "Girl, you all right?" And I stopped her. I let her know, "Sis, I learned how to ride the bike." And she was happy. But you would think that I would be a little mad because the first moments of me actually learning how to ride the bike, she had her back turned all on her phone. I wasn't worried about it. I was just happy that I learned how to ride this bike. However, to this day, my sister still claims that she was the only one who taught me how to ride a bike. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you think my sister said the most blackest thing ever, this next story gonna throw you for a loop. Put your hands together for Angel.
Hi, how you doing? Hi, everybody. All right, so my story today is called The Report Card Massacre. Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped upside down. Now I'd like to take a minute, just sit right here. Now let me tell you the story that I had, the worst story I had in years. So, all right, so it was this Thursday afternoon. It was a gloomy day outside. It wasn't really my day. And basically, today was a day of my parent-teacher conference. So on Thursday, I lied to my aunt, telling her that I didn't receive my report card. Y'all already know that. So next thing you know, we had the parent-teacher conference Friday afternoon. And, at the same time being, my heart beating as me already telling her that I didn't receive my report card. And so be going up here, she's chatting it up, da-da-da. I ain't focusing on that. My heart just beating because I already know it's going to get worse along the way. So we officially made it to the school, and she still chatting it up, da-da-da. She was like, if you lying, I'm going to whoop your ass, I'm just like, all right, I'm not lying. I'm sticking to my story because I ain't know any better. So, and mind you, this was my 7th grade year. So in middle school, I just being myself, didn't know any better. But at the same time we made it to the school. She ain't saying nothing. She just waiting to go upstairs to the classroom. So we walk into the classroom, do-do-do. And next thing you know, we made it to the classroom officially. And Mr. Perry, I just felt like everything was set up. Everything was set up because everything was just spread out. The report cards were stacked up on his desk. And I'm just like, my heart just started racing. My adrenaline started pumping. I'm like, oh, I'm about to get it. So Mr. Perry, he was like, hey, Angel, how are you? I'm giving a simple, I'm okay, so and so. I looked over at my aunt. She was like, nah, I ain't for the small talk. Mr. Perry, did y'all receive y'all report cards on Thursday? And he looked at me. I said, let me put the glasses down. He looked at me, and I looked at him. And so, as I'm looking at him, I'm like, he already know where this is about to go. So he was like, yes. And once he said yes, I looked back at my aunt. Man, she did not play. She was just like, okay. So Mr. Perry, he told me, yeah, did Angel not tell you? It was like, no, he said that he didn't receive it. Mr. Perry told me, oh, really? Okay. Do you want me to print you out a copy? I just looked at him. I'm like, you enjoying this? You enjoying this? Because he know my aunt, so he knows she don't play. So I'm like, okay. We going down to the guidance office. And I don't know, she was just like, son, I had a feeling like she was about to hit me. I don't know. I was walking, and I'm like, she about to do something. It's like Spidey sense. So we walking. Next thing you know, she said, I guess Mr. Perry was talking and all. And she said, Mr. Perry, what is that? He looked. All you heard was, pow, real quick. I went into the locker. I'm like, she said, you better not cry. You better not cry. You better not do anything. You better keep a straight face. And I'm just like, I didn't know how to feel, man. I had so many mixed emotions. So next thing you know, we walking down the hall. Mr. Perry, first off, he was scarred. He was like, oh my gosh. And I told him, I was like, I just looked at him, I'm like, ooh, wait till school Monday. We're going to have a chat. So we walking down the hallway, and next thing you know, he wanted me to come with him just so he could print out the report card. He told me, he was like, nah, boy, your aunt don't play. Why in the world would you lie about, your report card, boy? And I'm just like, I can't say nothing, because she hear everything. She got bionic ears. So it's like, even if you whispering, you still hear it. So next thing you know, officially got my report card. And, I'm saying, bye, Mr. Perry. And, I'm walking down the stairs with her. She was like, oh, I'm going to whoop your ass when you get home. I'm going to tear your... I'm like, look. I'm just sitting there quiet. She's zooming, like at least going 80 on the house. I'm like, yo, just to whip my butt? Like, yo, calm down. And, even I'm getting nervous. The faster she driving, I'm like, oh, it's about to come. So, moral of the story, we made it back to the house. She said, go upstairs, pull your pants down. I'll be up there in a minute. I'm like, all right. And I already know each step I'm taking, I'm like, ooh, Angel, you got to think of a plan. You got to think of a plan now. So next thing you know, I made it upstairs. My pants to my ankles. I'm just waiting. And, she got a section full of belts in the closet. She got to pick the pointy one, the extension cord probably, or whatever. So I'm just like, so as she looking for one, someone told me, it's like, Angel, run, run, run. And when you run, it's worse. So it's like, I was just like, oh well. So I dipped off. Every time she turned around, she was like, oh, boy. I was like, I ran down the stairs. My pants still down, so I'm jumping over steps, whatever. I just waited till I got to the next step. I was like, So next thing you know, she chasing me. I was like, you gonna get your exercise in today. Because the way you getting all these belts and picking, So I finally made it to the basement. I locked the door. She said, open up this door. I said, no. She was like, oh, you want to get basic? I said, no. And next thing you know, she said, open up this door. Man, I just pulled up my pants real quick. Next thing you know, I tippy-toed downstairs. She didn't know I unlocked the door already. She was just still like, open up this door. I just waited till I got to the last step in the basement. I said, it's open. I went in the basement bathroom. Why I forget that the door doesn't lock? So I already knew it was over because knowing, she a little heavy a little bit, just a little bit. But so she bumped her butt on the door, said, boom. I said, ah! It was over. I said, you know what? I give up. So more of the story is, kids, never lie about your report cards. Because, black mamas don't play. So, let's see. I ain't done. This next story that's coming, y'all thought my story was wild. Hear this peaceful, wonderful story, Murray Seller.
Hello, everyone. Let me see. There we go. So, to give you guys a little bit of context, I was born and raised in Honduras until I was 8, then moved to the U.S. I had a lovely childhood with my cousins, mom, and grandma. In this story, I was 7 and still scared of the dark, which is why I slept in my mom's bed. One afternoon around 4 p.m., my mom and I were napping when I woke up suddenly, staring at the ceiling like I was waiting for it to reveal its deepest secrets. Then I saw a shadow moving from the living room towards my grandma's room. Naturally, I thought, who wouldn't follow a creepy shadow in the middle of a nap? So I jumped out of bed, fully ready to ruin my cousin's prank. As I tiptoed through the house, I called, hey, Digna, stop playing. But when I reached Grandma's room, it was just me and a whole lot of silence. Definitely not part of the plan. After not finding anyone, I went outside asking my grandma if she'd seen Digna sneaking around. But she told me Digna had been outside the whole time. I thought, great, now I'm just a solo ghost hunter. When I told my mom, expecting her to say I was imagining things, she actually admitted she had seen the same shadow the day before. We didn't tell Grandma yet, though. No need to freak out, everyone. The next morning, Grandma came to us all casual, like, oh, by the way, my bed moved last night and my blanket got pulled. No big deal. I got chills, but my mom and grandma shrugged it off, saying, probably just someone visiting. They acted like a shadow tour was a perfectly normal thing. 2 weeks later, we received a letter from my uncle, who hadn't called in months. He shared how much he missed his family, how faith changed his life, and even sent photos. Then just a week after we received a call, we learned he'd passed away a few weeks ago. Heartbroken, we brought him back to Honduras for his funeral. Friends and family came, sharing stories of kindness and laughter. It was a perfect mix of love, tears, and a few laughs, like he would have wanted. Looking back, I think he visited us to say goodbye, even if it meant turning me into a junior ghost hunter for a day. It took comfort knowing he cared that much. Thank you. But hold on. If you thought my story was spooky, wait until Jonathan tells you about his day of Halloween.
Okay. So, about 3 years ago on Halloween, me, my cousin, and our few friends were chilling at the skate park, and I say, do y'all want to go get Yogi Castle? Because it was down the road, and it was pretty hot. And everybody agreed, so we all hopped on the bus and headed to Yogi Castle. And when we got there, everybody got different things. I got a cookies and cream base with Oreo bits and little jelly balls. Ooh, I miss Yogi Castle. After, we all went to a parking garage to eat, chill, and skate. Then we noticed there's a way onto the roof. So we hopped on the roof, and it was an apartment. And there was a little chill spot with grills, benches, and a nice fireplace. So we chilled for about 30 minutes. Then we noticed there was another roof we could climb on. So we skated down the garage, and once we got down to the bottom, there was a 5-foot fence we had to climb. And then we had to cross some train tracks. So I volunteered to go first. So while I was climbing up the fence, I was looking out for trains to make sure none were coming. Then when I got down, everybody handed me their boards so they could climb over. But once everybody hopped over, we crossed the tracks to the roof, and there was a little skate spot in front of it. So we skated that for a little before climbing up. Then once we climbed up, I was hesitant. So I was the last one to go up. But once we were there, it was fine until we were getting down. When we were getting down, there was one person to get down. And as they were getting down, some dude came out from the building next door, and he was pissed. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get off the roof." So they climbed down faster as the dude got closer and closer, still yelling. But once they got down, we ran across the tracks looking out for trains, and we escaped. But that wasn't the only time we got yelled at that day. Because later that night, we were trick-or-treating, and we got a lot of candy, as 14-year-olds do. But once we were done, we ended up by the circle, and we found a construction stop sign and thought it would be a good idea to take it to the circle to see how many cars we could stop. So we picked it up and took it to the circle to mess around. When we got there, the cars were stopping and laughing, and everybody was having fun. And the cops noticed, so they passed by, but we didn't notice. And then they circled back and had their lights on so they could stop our shenanigans. When they pulled up, we all stopped, and they hopped out with lights blaring, saying, "Get against the wall," with a loud, demanding voice. And as we did, he said, "Where do y'all live?" And we all pointed different places because we all live in different places. Then he said, go home to whoever's house you're going to, as more cops showed up. So then we went to my friend's house to chill for the rest of the night. The lesson I learned that night was to not play with stop signs on a busy road when cops are around. If you thought my experience was a hair twirling experience, let Sunila tell you about her art of letting go.
Help. Help me. Please.
And now for our commercial break.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. Girl, you gonna give me some of that? What you mix with? I've heard it all. My hair was my identity as a child, and it was hard to separate myself from it. Coming out of the womb with a whole 27-piece and had the nerve to be tender-headed, regardless, my mother put her cosmetology skills to work. Chi, come get on the counter, it's time to wash your hair. Look for the wide tooth comb and some rubber bands. And I could never forget, hold your head stiff, child. I still feel the crook in my neck, beady beads and bubbles hitting me, beads and bubbles hitting me in the face. That's crazy. Anyway, as I run rapid in my neighborhood, I'll address the elephant in the room. I've been under 4'10" my whole life, so my hair was very long for my height. Like to my knees, not a big deal. I'm a black woman with a light complexion and curly, wavy hair. All that to say, people have assumed my race for me, and solely because of my hair, I hated that too. Okay, by the time I was 12, I was over it. My arms were stronger than tree roots gripping the earth. My hair had become who I was, and by that I mean my hair controlled everything. How people perceived me, fashion shows, auditions, and how I felt about myself. All of our crowns have different personalities, and mine felt like a hot mess friend I just couldn't get rid of. I always asked my mother to let me cut it. The answer was always no. No explanation, no eye contact, and at one point, I wasn't even allowed to rebraid the single braid my mother threw in my hair each Sunday for the week. I love my hair, but being so young, I just couldn't take care of it. I just wanted a simple haircut. Years of begging and showing her all the styles I wanted, I finally convinced her. Honestly, she cut a lot off, but that was my first time I altered my appearance to where someone would genuinely notice. The moment I heard the snip of the scissors, it was a lot of first times for me. The first time I could understand I could be so creative with my features, trying new things I've been afraid of but so badly couldn't get my mind off of it. I saw the pain in my mother's eyes as 5 inches of locks plummeted on the kitchen floor. She was really in tears, y'all. Anyway. But at the end, she said, be happy because you're not cutting it again. Sure. It was a new beginning for my identity, which was kind of true. I was now Sunila, funny, intelligent, stylish young lady, not just the one with all the hair. People still challenged my race, so I thought maybe it just wasn't the hair, but anyway. In no time at all, it grew back, and I kept trimming it to keep it above my belly button. And I ended up being interested in cosmetology to pursue my dreams of becoming a professional stylist. To me, I already was. Also, my mom and I fought every day, so my acts of rebellion became my hair. One day, she told me she was leaving for the weekend. My plot began. I hugged her goodbye with an evil grin in my conscience, of course. 12 a.m., I ran to my mother's room, scissors, rubber bands, and clips. I felt like I was in the military, sergeants going, move, move, move! My dad in the living room, dozing off to some cowboy movie. I run back to the bathroom, turn on the tutorial, and get to work. YouTube University had my back. Snip, 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 posting on Snapchat each snap for every inch I cut. As my father knocked on the bathroom door to tell me goodnight, the adrenaline in my body perished. I woke up from Choptown and looked in the mirror to see I had a bob. B-O-B, Bob. How the hell did this happen? Another knock. Is everything okay? My brain shut down, trying to come up with all type of excuses. Should I use a trash bag, shower curtain, rug to cover my hair? It all happened way too fast. I decided to just come clean, peer open the door. He pushed the door open and did a double take. His eyes widened so much they almost fell out of his head. Your mother is gonna throw a fit. Quietly, he closed the door, and I heard his footsteps sadly walk back to the living room. I look back in the mirror. All I see is guilt, impulsivity, and fear. I carefully section my hair once again to cut even more layers because I definitely was not getting in trouble for no bob. My best friends hyped me up. My new do was cute. They told me how much of a good job I did and concluded my last snap post for the night. I look in the mirror for the last time. All of that guilt leaves my body immediately. It was so cute, I wouldn't care if I had gotten grounded until all of my hair grew back. I was most definitely proud of myself. I'm home. Damn. The weekend went by fast. I quickly found my head wrap and figured out how I was going to do this. Butt tight, eyes to my toes, I walk into the kitchen to greet my mother. Was I truly ready to accept this fate? She's laying down, face down on the couch, allowing me to physically freak out. Just be cool, I whispered to myself. So how was your trip? She didn't notice my nerves at all. Okay, so girl, let me tell you. She was still face down. I couldn't hear a word she said over the sound of my regretful thoughts consuming my brain function. Fuck it. I take my silk scarf off and stand right in front of her. Look. Now the only thing I could hear is my heart thumping. Finally, after 5 minutes of staring at me, she goes, Sanila, go to your room right now. I walked back. At every step I took, I was looking back in fear, feeling like she was going to throw a frisbee at my head. Hours later, she comes in, sits on my bed. I'm still nervous, shaking like a leaf. She goes, you're lucky it's cute. Ever since then, I usually keep my hair cut above my shoulders, and I've dyed it in every color of the rainbow. Thank you. Now, get ready for Passion in Motion.
Hello, everybody. I would like to share you a story, and it's called The Little Boy in the Arts. This story... Oh, okay.
Another commercial break.
This story of a little... This is the story of a little boy who is 5 years old with his head full of braids, who one day found himself in front of two large doors. And inside, he discovered a world full of the arts. The little boy did not know that the world of the arts existed because before, he was in a quiet place. In the beginning, he was scared because he didn't know everyone over there. There were a lot of children, but he's very shy and quiet. He loves the arts, and he's ready to start a process to learn about it. In this place, some days he learns arts about colors, shapes, paintings, drawings, collages, etc. The other day, he learned African dances and other cultural dances. When he started to learn about rhythms, he did it by himself with pencils. But in this place, he learned drumming with real African drums. As time passed, he kept growing in this arts place. There is a special thing, like a boy who really takes his attention. It's called dance. Okay. Movements, music, expressions, feelings, everything together to grow in one word is dance. That's the word. He met different teachers in this place. Miss Sarah, the flamenco dance teacher. Mr. Casey, the jump rope teacher. Mr. Ricardo, the shuffling dance teacher. Mr. Nehemiah, the art teacher. Miss Latanya, the hula hoop and tumbling teacher. Miss Hermione, the yoga teacher. Miss Renee, the vocal teacher. And at this point, I want to mention the little boy discovered his Latin rhythms through his hips. Okay. In Miss Jessica's classes. She teaches him salsa, bachata, and merengue. If you know about salsa, for sure you recognize this. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Through that time, he met a lot of art and dance teachers. Actually, he participated in dance performances. The theater was full every single time. It made him very happy and confident. He stayed in this place for 8 years. And probably you're asking yourself, who this boy is? This boy is in front of your eyes. In this place, Joe's Memoriam helped me to discover an amazing connections with the arts. And you know what? I have a dream. And for that, I came back here. I'm 19 now, and my dream is to be a dance teacher and choreographer. Dance is my inspiration and motivates me. It fills my body with full of energy and joy. That's why I never stop. I have always danced since I was little, and when I do it, I feel happiness from inside and outside of my heart. Now, dancing is expressed through movements, but being a choreographer is more complex. It requires time and inspiration. The body dances, but the mind creates. Making choreography just for myself can be exact therapy to find my creative capacity within myself. This allows me to create the most original choreography ever made, because we are unique among a million. Dance makes me aware of myself. It helps me feel in harmony as a complete human being. This is very important to find harmony with the environment and my future students. I want to create honest choreographies that allows the performers to express themselves clearly, to get rid of their fears, and to let their emotions flow. I love basketball. It's my favorite sport, but I know that I'll never be a basketball player. So what's left for me? What else do I love? Dancing, which came into my life when I was 5 here at Joe's. I had been away from the road and everything, and suddenly I came here to this world of the arts. Here I painted, here I laughed, here I discovered that I could play African drums and my rhythmic abilities. The arts entered through every pore in my body, opening doors to flow as I truly felt. That's what I called being happy. If you have a dream, fight for it. Don't let it go away. Love everything you do. And you can see how enjoyable your life can be. Thank you. If you thought the little boy was in Harbormania, let Fernanda tell you, about her lifetime story, Hubermania.
And now for our commercial break.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. Thank you. Sorry. All right. Hi, everybody. Okay, so my story is about a cat and how she's special to me. So let's start from the beginning. The night starts with the rain. Sorry. The night starts with a heavy rain as I hear thunder coming from the window. I wrap myself with a blanket, but I begin to hear something coming back from the back door. As I open the door as I open the door, I become more curious of what that noise is coming from. So I open the door, I turn on the lights, and I see a baby kitten laying down by the steps of the stairs. And I was curious, and so I was like, why is this cat here, and how did it get here? Because there was no cats near my house or near the neighbor. So I was like, I don't know who would drop this cat here, or maybe it was its destination to be here. So me as curious, I picked up the cat and I brought it inside because it was shaking, it was crying, and it was wet, of course, right? So I picked it up and I had to kind of sneak the cat in because my mom, she didn't really like pets, nor my dad. So I sneaked it in my room and I tried so bad to make the cat stop crying because my mom, she did not like pets. Like, she was the type to not mess around with pets or anything. And so what I did, I cut up a box of cardboard from Amazon, like a package earlier from there. And so I made it a little bed, and I grabbed a blanket, an old blanket, and I just gave it milk because I ain't had nothing, no pets, no nothing. I never had a pet before. And that's the only thing I had that a cat could, drink. And so I fed it its milk. It stopped crying, and I warmed it up. I took it a bath and whatever, right? Moving forward, my mom, she eventually found out because my mom would always walk in my room. Like, she would just walk in there, without knocking, and she was like, yo, so this cat, how did it get here? And I got on my knees and I told my mom, because once I saw that cat, it's like I felt in love with that cat, So I told my mom, and I was like, Mom, could we keep this cat, like, please? Like, and she was just like, ay, Fernanda. And so she was like, well, think about it, because, she, like I said, she doesn't like pets. And she has this thing where she moms, they like to keep the house clean, and, they don't like no cat around or no pets around, because the smell or whatever, right? And so I kept the cat there because I had school the next day and whatever, right? So moving on, the cat stayed there. We was just feeding it milk for the days that I couldn't, because, I had no experience, so I had to ask some friends. And eventually, I came again with the same question to my mom, could we keep the cat or not? And I don't know what made my mom decide that we could keep the cat, but she said, yeah, sure, go ahead, keep the cat, but with the condition that you keep the house clean and no cat hair around the couches. And believe it or not, I did not keep none of that promises. Because if you go to her house, her favorite couch, destroyed it. Because, the cats, they like to, grip on anything, right? So one of her couches, goodbye. So, yeah, so moving on forward, life went on. And from there, I grew up with a lot of love with the cat. It might sound crazy, but, like, I took her for, she had her own photo shoot for Christmas. And she had one for Halloween. And just her, not me in the picture, just her. Just her. And I don't know, she's been there when I'm like going through heartbreaks, hard moments. You know, it's just crazy how a pet can change your life and how they can be your comfort zone. So she's been there through a lot, and she's seen me a lot. She doesn't really like to be around people. She's a little bit, antisocial. She has a little bit of anxiety. So if she sees you come to the house, she's gonna run away from you. And yeah, so besides that, that's my story of how I, surprisingly just got a cat. Thank you. And if you think my cat was her, wait until y'all hear Justice's love story.
We're gonna take this off. How y'all doing? Okay, I want to preface this story by saying I was a good kid growing up, but I was a good bad kid, I was about this tall, bald. I'm talking about real bald. One guard on the top, bald. Little Bill running around like a baby kid, bald. But I wasn't always a bad kid. Growing up, I had good grades. I mess with my mom a little bit, get on my dad's nerves type. Mama say, stop it. I say, no. She say, stop it, I'm gonna call your daddy. I say, yes, ma'am. Now look, we gonna fast forward a little bit, just a few years to when I did something crazy. The type crazy you wouldn't want your kids to do, but you tell them about it when they old enough. So, I was talking to this girl, right? Now, we already know how that go. I was fronting. Well, for real say, I was just fronting. This was my first serious girlfriend. I'm about 16 at the time. I'm feeling myself. I got a little hair on my chest, you know what I'm saying? Just a little peach fuzz on my chin. I'm in the mirror. I'm like, ooh, look at me. So, first day she called me, right? I get nervous. My legs kicking in there. I'm giddy, you know what I'm saying? I let her ring again. I'm in the mirror. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk to her. I say, Alexa. She said, yes. I said, yo, play Confessions by Usher. I'm trying to put something on. She called. She said, hello. I said, how you doing? Now, y'all know I had to put the voice on her. I said, how your day been? You all right? She said, ooh, I like your voice. I said, hold on a second. So, she talking to me. A few months go by. She called my phone. She said how mama yelling at her. I'm like, let me try something. She telling me, my mama don't understand. I want to get away from here, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I'm feeling myself. I said, I'd never treat you like that. You ain't have to deal with that. Why she do that to you? Now she telling me what she did. She said, all I did was sneak out the house. I said, maybe I'll take that back. But I'm young and naive at the time. I'm macking, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling myself. I said, anything you want, I got you. She said, oh, really? I said, yes, sir. She said, hair? I said, how much is it? She said, $550. Ooh. Am I? I can get you some press-on nails, though, you know what I'm saying? Get you one of them little Timu wigs. I can take care of you a little bit. So look, I finally get to see her. First time seeing her in person. She live in Florida. We here. That's 700 miles by flight. That's a long flight, right? So we get there. It's me and my mama. Her mom come to the door. She hugged me. She's like, you're just such a well-mannered young man. I'm feeling like Michael Jackson from the Thriller video. Okay. Her dad come, right? I'm prepared for that speech. I'm like, he gonna threaten me. I'm thinking he about to pull a bad boy. How tall are you? Who is you? But nah, this short little man walk out. I'm like, okay. He said, what are your intentions with my daughter? I said, none, we just been talking for a little minute. I want to give her the world. I want to treat her right. He look at me. Okay, young man. I come in. Now, her mama done put oxtails on the table. She got jerk chicken. She got curry goat. I'm about to eat good, right? But here's where the bad part come in. The next day, we about to run away, right? So I'm like, I feel bad sitting at this lady table eating her food, and I'm about to take her daughter cross state lines. So I'm sitting there eating, right? Dad asking me what I do. I'm like, I'm a little R&B artist. I could put little notes in, just a little bit. He look at his daughter. He look at his wife. He looked back at me. He said, okay, son. I said, all right. Next day, we go to Busch Gardens, right? We got the plan all laid out. We said we was going to go to the water park, right? But little did we know, we was packing our bags because we was about to go, right? I'm thinking I got big bread in my pocket. I got $3,500. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. So we call our parents after we leave. We went on one ride, she done got sick. I done wasted my money. Like, I wanted to have a little bit of fun before we left. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you was going to do all that, you could have been sick in the car. But okay. So we leave, we call our parents, right? This is where the acting come in, right? I got it, leave me alone. Mom picks up. Hello? Mom, they chasing us, they getting us. Oh, I'm all confused, I don't know what to do. Click. Yeah, they gonna buy that. Now look, I'm young and dumb, right? I ain't had this phone for not too long. It's an iPhone, right? I thought you turn it off, they can't see my location. I'm about to be grown. You know what I'm saying? It's getting hot in here. I'm thinking I'm grown. So we driving, right? She hanging out the car window. I'm giddy, because I'm thinking we didn't left. Tee-hee, giggling. So, few months go by. We got an apartment at this time. I'm thinking we successful. It's in the summer. School about to start the next month. I ain't going, because I'm thinking I'm grown. I'm laid up, right? Listening to Marvin Gaye. Love TKO. I'm feeling real grown. It's 3 a.m. I wake up, all I hear. Knocking on my door, I don't know nobody. Except for Miss Jenkins down the street, but her old butt ain't getting up at 3. I go back to sleep. Who at my door? Window right here to the apartment, right? I'm looking, I'm peeking. There it is. I can't see nobody. So, I'm in my drawers, some sandals, and a robe. I'm about to open this door. Get away from my door! All that. Last one. Police, open up. They done got me. So I'm thinking, I'm running around the apartment. I ain't watched enough investigative discovery. I tried to hide under the bed, under the mattress, move the mattress back over. Look, boom. It's on the floor. Can't do that. Go to the closet. Can't hide in here. I'm too tall for that. I'm like, yo, we gonna jump out the window. Look, I ain't doing that. I open the door. They says, sir, are you Justice Smith? Yeah. Is so-and-so with you? Yeah. They lock us up, right? They like, we gotta call your parents. Because I'm 16. She's 18. They ain't had to call her parents, but her parents knew. My dad called me, right? We all know how that go. I'm putting on my best voice. I'm feeling like Denzel, right? He gave me the phone, like, get your hands off me. Let me get on this phone. Dad, I'm so happy they found me. I've been sitting here, blah, blah, blah. He said, shut your ass up. You know what's happening when you get back. I said, what? He said, you're going to find out. It's going down. What that mean? He acting like I'm a Marvel supervillain. It's going down. Okay. So he came to pick us up, right? She crying, she wailing. I'm scared because he just looking at me. He ain't say nothing, just looking at me. Pissed. But I'm thinking, he telling me I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what love is, blah, blah, blah. I'm feeling myself. Keep in mind, I'm only 5'9", 145 pounds. Soaking. My dad is 6'2", 230 pounds. It didn't go well. So he like, you want to do something? I'm like, yeah. He said, go ahead. I'm like, all right. He said, you done? When I tell you he caved my chest in, pick me up, brush me off, we going home. Fast forward, present day. I'm 18 now. I'm living my life. I'm about to go off to college on a full ride scholarship. I'm on Instagram. I'm flexing, right? I'm flexing the jewelry. I'm flexing the clothes. I'm like, I done got myself back together. I'm scrolling on Instagram. Guess who hits me up? This girl. Because what I forgot to mention, she left me. She said she started talking to someone else. Okay. What we had was special. I thought we ran away together. You run away with other people? Okay. So she said, I just been thinking about you. I just wanted to call you, see what you was doing. I said, okay. She said, I'm in your city. Everybody know what that means. Okay. So she said she want to go out on a little date. I'm thinking, okay, I know you. You worth McDonald's, maybe, you know, not Cheesecake Factory, but some cheesecake from like 7-Eleven. I'll get you something. She talking about, nah, I want to go to Red Lobster. Damn, Red Lobster money? No, I ain't got paid yet. So we go anyway, and that's when my plans start. We driving over there. I done picked her up. I'm thinking, she gonna leave me? I'm gonna leave my wallet at the house. So we sitting there, we talking, chopping it up. She's like, yeah, I just been thinking about you. A lot happened. I got 3 kids now. 3? Girl, it's been 2 years. 3? She said, yeah, you know, I just, you know how I am. I just ain't been out here. Okay. You ain't been out here but got 3 kids. Okay. So we talking. She said, what you gonna get to eat? I said, none, let me just get the mozzarella sticks, right? And that good bread they got. She like, cool. I want the surf and turf with the filet mignon. Let me get it medium well. Don't cook it on the side, cook it right down the middle. I'm like, She like, let me get the scrimp. You don't even like seafood. What you getting that for? So she come, she eating. I'm talking about fingers to plate, fingers to mouth, eating. Like she ain't got no home training. I'm like, I'm definitely leaving you here now. So I say, excuse me, I gotta step off to the bathroom. I see the waiter, he said, sir, did you enjoy your food? I said, yeah, I did. Let me give you this. Right, give it, I leave out the back, right? Our car's parked near the front window where our seat is, right? I lean my chair back. Now keep in mind, I got both phones out to record what's about to happen next. Giddy, waiter come, fat check come. She looking over, she looking around. My phone rang. Where you at? The check done came. You got it, right? No. She said, you just gonna leave me here? Yeah. Just like you left me, right? You got it, big dog. I done left my purse at the house. I done left my wallet at the house. And she looked at me, I honked the horn, gave her a little goodbye with one finger, and I left. And that's my story. So, but wait, a lot went wrong in my story. But for this next story told by a very special guest, this is Project Gone Wrong by Precious.
Okay, hi guys. Okay, so this is my story called Project Gone Wrong. Mr. Thomas had assigned us a family project to Washington, D.C. But we knew our parents didn't have time gallivanting around Washington, D.C., playing I Spy with my little eyes with government buildings. So we took it upon ourselves and called it the Diabolical Trip to Washington, D.C. You'll see why later. Oh, and let me introduce the crew. It was April, May, September, August, and me. We all shared a class, except August. She had a different period. Now, buckle up, because this story is a wild ride. First, we planned that May's dad will pick us up all at 9 a.m. But in true chaotic fashion, he had laundry duties from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We were on edge already, but by the grace of God, he eventually showed up, collecting us one by one, September 1st, me last. Once all assembled, we hit the road with Afro beats blasting. That's the 27-minute ride to DC flew by, and our first stop was the Supreme Court. To our surprise, it was packed. Some people just looked like tourists, other people just looked like it was a regular Saturday for them. We posed by the fountain, each standing on a podium for the perfect shot. But with no entry allowed, we moved on to the next stop, which was the Library of Congress. Arriving at the library, we found out we needed a reservation to enter. Thankfully, April got us 5 tickets for a 12:45 p.m. entry. Inside, things got interesting fast. I accidentally pressed the wrong button in the elevator, sending us straight to the basement. And that place was spooky. I mean, the place was very creepy. The place looked broken down. There were broken lights twitching. It looked like an alleyway to a different dimension. I felt like it was a scene from Get Out. We ran out, laughing but a little creeped out, and spent the rest of the tour in awe of the architecture. And the security there, oh my gosh, they were no joke. They took their jobs very seriously. They were very strict. They told us we couldn't touch certain things, we couldn't go certain places. They were barking like dogs for no reason. Like, calm down, Jamal, don't pull out the knife. Sorry. Okay, next up was the Capitol building. Though, to be honest, it wasn't very memorable. By this point, we were exhausted. It was drizzling, and September's throat was hurting. We snapped a quick pic and moved towards the National Archives. The final destination was the White House, but the navigation there was chaotic. We got conflicting directions from strangers. Like, one told us to go left, another told us to go right, one told us to go up, the next might as well told us to go down. Like, what? It was giving, are you all right? No, you're all left. Anyways, we also saw a man spreading the gospel and even ran into a group of protesters. They had signs, loud chants, and a wooden representation of a lynch? Question mark? We joked that we wouldn't want to be the president if this was the daily scene, and conspired that he doesn't even live there for real. By now, we were running on fumes. April and August's phones were dead. May and I were clinging onto 10% battery, and September, bless her heart, had a broken phone. Desperate, we started hunting for a charging spot and found a Starbucks, but no luck was there. We tried a grilled cheese bar, but still, no charging station. Finally, a place called Immigrant Food, but there was a catch. Ask me what the catch was. We had to buy something in order to charge our phones. And you know what the cheapest item was? Guess. It was $16. Like, huh? Anyways, as we debated our next move, I noticed a disoriented man crossing the street, only to realize later that was September's former pastor. God, my bad. I'm so sorry. Small world. But first, I dashed to the nearby butter chicken company where, praise God, I found a charging spot. We regrouped there. The staff was very warm. They were welcoming, and it lifted up our spirits. Then came the twist. Okay, so let me tell y'all. September's pastor, after clocking into work, offered us a Uber ride to our final destination. We gratefully accepted. Okay, cool. September asked us what was the location of the next place. We told this girl specifically it was the Senate House. And, and she looked like she understood English. She looked like she knew what she was doing. But come to think of it, for real, why would we give this girl the task of booking our Uber when she has a broken phone? Sense. Anyways, but okay, so nevertheless, we ate as quickly as we could and we climbed into the Uber. But the Uber driver, he was not our biggest fan. Can you believe this man had the audacity to scold us for laughing too loud in his cousin's car? Cousin's car, like what? Like, bro, how does that concern us? We just live in life. Eventually, we arrived, and guess what? More like, guess where? We ended up at the Senate Square apartment. September had put in the wrong address. The driver clearly done with us. He asked us to get out immediately. He did not even care. We decided to free the Senate House visit. If y'all don't know what free means like give up for the yeah. Anyways, to wrap up our day, we headed towards McDonald's. Along the way, April was drenched by the rain. My umbrella almost killed us. We spotted lunatics. People tried to sell us trees and leaves. And then we spotted yet another buttered chicken. By the time we reached McDonald's, soaked and sore, we were ready for food and finally rested. This trip, chaotic, hilarious, exhausting, and an unforgettable adventure with the best group. Thank you. Okay, if you thought that story was chaotic, hilarious, and exhausting, wait till you hear John Q's story, The Desire.
Hello? All right. Let's get started. I remember when I was scared of the teacher. No, it's not that I was scared of him, or you might think that he was my English teacher since I'm Hispanic, but actually he was my Spanish teacher. So I need to go to pee, but didn't know how to ask. What if he yells at me? What if I annoy the teacher? What if I ask during a bad moment? What if I put myself in an embarrassed situation? I have many questions, but no answer. So I had the wonderful and awful idea of holding it until the end of the class. Every second that passed felt like an hour. The sweat coming out of my nose, my legs, my hand, and even parts that I would not like to mention here. As I sat, trapped, shifting all around my seat, couldn't raise my hand. Didn't dare to. I looked at the window, wishing I could escape, dreaming of freedom. I just wanted a little break, but the teachers both filled the room like heavy smoke, still feeling like a prison. The room became smaller. The walls closed in, and I kept holding it. This was a battle I couldn't win. In my mind, I even practiced asking what to say and which words to use, but I couldn't find the courage. It stayed hidden. Afraid that any sound might get me in trouble. Well, finally, the bell rang. The moment I have been waiting for. A sound that felt like rescue, like I have been saved. I jumped from my seat and rushed down the hall, escaping the fear, the sweat, everything. And as I ran, I promised myself next time I'd raise my hand, speak up, let my voice be heard. Because sometimes the hardest battles are the ones we fight inside our heads. I remember when I was coming from school, feeling a deep emotion that felt like butterflies in my stomach. But more than butterflies, it felt like flying cockroaches, honestly. I wanted to challenge myself to do something that took me out of my comfort zone. Well, I was coming out of the school, driving, listening to some Bad Bunny, and someone coach out the kid is not my son, you know? Woo! And well, so while I was driving, I felt like the world was trying to tell me something. I was on the hallway, and you know how there are those big signs on the highways? I was at the middle lane and saw a Nike sign that probably everyone might know. It says, just do it. As you can tell, I was a very shy person. I didn't socialize that much. The next day, I decided I will talk to at least one person. I remember when I got to the school cafeteria, every table was full of people. People talking about the soccer game that went last day, how the boyfriend cheated on them, another group playing Jenga. But at one table in the corner, there was a girl sitting alone. Oh, yeah, I know what you're thinking. So, feeling nervous, all over, shaking, I walk over to her. Each step felt heavy, like I was walking to my death. As I sat down, I was thinking of the best way to start a conversation. I started by saying, "Hi, can I sit here?" She looked at me, analyzed me, judged me with her face, and smiled at me. She said, "Sure, go ahead." That simple answer felt like relief. We started talking, and at first my words came out shaky, but little by little, the conversation flowed. We talked about our classes, our favorite shows, and found out that we had a lot in common. I realized that even though it was hard to take that first step, it was worth it. That chat helped me feel more comfortable, and suddenly the cafeteria didn't feel so overwhelming. I started to feel more confident, and before I knew it, I had spent more time than I thought talking to her. That experience taught me that sometimes you just need to take that first step, no matter how scary it feels. And to this day, I remember that lesson, the power of asking for what we need. It reminds me our voices and reminds me that our voices are important, no matter how small our needs might seem. In each brave moment, we make space for ourselves and and that is a victory worth celebrating. Thank you. Well, if you think that asking permission to go to the restroom is scary, wait till Alejandro tells you how it feels stepping into a classroom and to yes for the first time. Oh, that's better. I need to go to peace. Bye-bye.
Almost Christmas, happy Christmas, you know? Hi everyone, I hope you have a good night. My name is Alejandro, I'm from Nicaragua with 17 years old. However, I am bilingual, my first language is Spanish, so if I say something wrong, you know. I remember the night, I had two cameras, my neck, a backpack on my back, screaming in pain. And tired hands complaining with me. This was my first experience as photographer in a concert with perseverance and coordinating my team. My eyes were amazed by the scene on my camera. Looking through the lens, it's no longer you see, it feels every moment frozen in time. The camera becomes a station of my emotions. It sounds like fantasy, but my ideology that photography was just taking pictures. What a joke. I remember that. I always just took a picture like, oh, you know, person random person, can you take me you can take me a picture because I have a camera, and I take a picture and just take picture. So I remember that. Just take pictures. The final of my story, I will let you know, it's not just taking pictures, okay? So, all this while I question myself, why I'm here. Well, my dream was to be an airplane pilot. However, I conclude that I want to be a videographer and professional photographer because the mind is not perfect and we tend to forget things. I know that because I miss my native country, Nicaragua, and honestly, I don't remember much. I wish could remember what a morning at Susan look like, and also have a picture. It's not, yeah, sorry, it's not about living one more, bless you, one more. It's not about living one more day. It's about living at the last one. My life purpose are seeing the world, facing dangers, crossing walls, getting closer, meeting, and feeling. I remember talking to my grandfather. He's the wisest man I know. I told him about my goals. And in my first, to which he told me, this year is going to be the best song. And you are going to be the best photographer all the time, and I want to be so. After my grandpa told me that, a professional photographer is Steven Blanco. He's a vice president of Game Network. Oof. I remember that time, I was an advisor the last period of my class. I was talking with my friend, and the principal, he called me Mr. Schumann. The name Mr. Schumann. So he come here to my advisor, and he said, Alejandro, come here. I want to talk with you. So I get surprised, like, what happened? Ah, yeah, my friend, like Joker. What you do, man? What you do? What the principal call you? Huh? I know this. So I walk in, Mr. Schumann is here. Mr. Schumann is like, not sure, man, like here, me like that. And the Steven Blanco, I remember like, wow, it's too, like, it look like he go to the gym maybe. A good outfit. I remember with a long bear. So I look at him, he more taller, he like that, and I say, hello, and I say, what's up? So I remember. I start to sweating. My hands get cold. So like he's taller and me, and he looking for me. Now my principal say with the Schumann. So Steven say, I'm a photographer. I want to talk with you. Oh my gosh, he speaking English. He speaks English to me. I get nervous. I get nervous when I speak in English. I get nervous. Yeah, I get nervous when I speak in English. I get sweaty, and I forgot the words. So I try. Oh my God, how can I do with this? I forgot the English. I try to la 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 la. My gosh. But I walk to him and say, yeah, my name is Alejandro, photographer too. I have my Instagram, I post, blah, blah. And say, oh yeah, where are you from? Nicaragua. He said, I'm from Salvador. Ah, tú hablas español. Yeah, he speaks Spanish. Entonces, mano, ¿y por qué no me dijiste antes? Yo estaba preocupado. Yeah, I'm saying I was nervous because I tried to speak English and he speak Spanish, but not letting me know first. So why? It's okay. So yeah, we talk Spanish, and yeah, I get phone, mirror something like what he's doing in his life. Yeah, I get in shock because he said, I traveled the world. I took pictures. You traveled the world with just taking pictures? Yeah. He said, yes. What do you have? Oh my gosh, I wanted to be that. I wanted to do the same thing. Oh my gosh, just pictures? You remember, just take pictures. So he learning about me and learning about him, how photographer, I mean, how photographer is more than just people who take pictures. Yeah. So, what was? So, that is a person who travel the world. He meet important and popular persons. So I remember he talking to me, yeah, and he said, "You are so creative. I saw your picture. I see you have passion and you love photography." I said, "Yes." So when he said me that, yeah, I know him is a like better person about photography than me. So I say, when that happened to me, I know it was a right bad because I started with day one and I didn't wait for 1 day. So that's the most important thing that happened to me. I know, wait, why? Hold on. Why? Yo, I know. I know appreciate visual art and want to continue practicing and developing my skills. After my personal development, I understood that no matter what challenge I encourage, encourage, yes, or doubts I had, I was enlightened to move forward. As Confucius say, is a Chinese philosopher. We all have two lives, and the second one, life begins when you realize you only have one. I have this in my mind every day because I am immigrant and sorry. When I was in Nicaragua, I had my life, but I left it behind to start a new life start a new life in United States. I use photography as a medium to create memories for everyone, even myself, because no one knows what will happen tomorrow. So I learned that I left my country, and I wonder how photos from Nicaragua. Like I can see photos from Google, but I wanted my photos. So I think about that, and I learned that it's not just take picture; it's save memory about your life, and not only save like a paper, or not only save like the picture in the cloud or in the phone. Is save in the heart and don't forget. Thank you. And if you enjoy my history and your life, and so Caleb will say his story, and you will learn some things, yeah. So thank you for listening. Have a good night. Drink water. Eat well. Goodbye.
Take this thing off. All right. I'm gonna tell y'all the story about the whooping I never forgot. I was at my grandma's house, and when I'm at my grandma's house, I can do what I want, because I'm the baby boy of four. Like, give me the last piece of candy after everyone asks. So, I'm just getting away with it. But this particular night was different at my grandma's house. My brother invited his friends over to play Black Ops. And since my mom didn't want me to play shooting games, I just decided to stay up and watch. Then, so that's what I did. Then I fell asleep. The next day, I was sitting in the living room getting ready to go back to my mom's house, and I had a great idea. When I mean great, a real great idea. I was going to take the game with me, and now I didn't ask since my cousins was coming to my mom's. I figured out we can play zombies like like the night before, and maybe, just maybe, I could do more than watch. So now it's about 5 or 6 o'clock, and my cousins me and my cousins go to the house to chill. I'm in my room thinking, when should I set this game up? On this secret mission, I checked my mom's room. She was chilling, watching the Food Network. So I thought, the time is now. It ain't no going back. I ain't going back. So I set the game up, but I forgot. Be quiet. My mom heard the gunshots on the TV. She came in, busted in the room. I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I threw the controller to my cousin because I wasn't supposed to be playing. So I said, but she already saw me playing. So she asked, how did I get it? First, I wanted to lie, but I just said, I don't know. And then she asked, so, was you just playing? I said, I don't know again. So she left the room. Oh, I thought I was in the clear. Y'all thought I was in the clear? I really thought I was in the clear. No. So she went to go get her belt. And I always thought running worked. So y'all want to know what I did? I started running. I said, oh, no, she ain't about to get me. She ain't about to get me. I ain't going out like this. But she chased me down the steps. And y'all know running don't work. So it was like, it was just over. It was over. She got me. It was over. But my cousin was upstairs laughing. But they know they can get it too. I learned that I don't know ain't a good answer. And running don't work. Running only make it worse. Now, if y'all thought that story, if y'all thought that whooping experience was something, now let's let Caden tell his story about his trip to the islands.
On June 22nd, I was supposed to fly out to Trinidad for the first time. But a long security line made me miss my flight. So I decided to go the next day, and I caught the 3 a.m. flight. I took 2 planes, and I had to wait a while for the second flight to get there. When my plane went up, it felt light, like a car driving to a very high speed, but I didn't feel it lift off. But when I looked outside, all I saw were white fluffy clouds. When I got to the second flight, I was really excited for what awaited me in Trinidad. While on the plane, we were about 20 minutes away. A flight attendant gave us a paper that we had to fill out. When we got there, it was 2 p.m., and it was sunny and humid. It felt like I had asthma again, but I didn't. I called my cousin to pick me up, and he said something to me. Wagwan. But when the car pulled up, I didn't know who they were. I was confused. They said my name and mentioned my dad's name, and I knew how we were related. He told me his name was Kern. Kern and I got pizza, my first time, with tomatoes, mushrooms, and chicken. Then we headed to the family house in Trinidad. I had an uncle that lived there, but my cousin didn't like him, so I never got to see him. He showed me around the clean house filled with plants, but in the kitchen, there were about 50 bottles scattered everywhere. Outside, he pointed out the mango trees, coconut trees, sugar canes, banana trees, and more. Inside, I noticed that the house did not have AC, but it did have the fans. It was scorching so hot. that I felt like I was going to dissolve. The fan there was my best friend. That night, we went grocery shopping, looking for new things I should try. There were long late nights talking, or really, Karn was talking. He talked so much that my ears felt like they were gonna fall off. I got a headache and decided to sleep. The next day, Karn and I explored Trinidad, visiting the oil plants, wheat farms, city vendors, and trying new foods. On the third day, we took a shaky cruise ship to Tobago and caught a taxi to the seaside hotel that we reserved. It had a pool and was right across the street from the beach. The next day, we spent a few hours at the beach before taking a glass-bottom boat to see fish and coral. We stopped at a spot named No Man's Land for food before heading back. That was a great trip. On my last day, Karen brought me drinks for the trip back home, even though the plane didn't accept drinks on the flight. I had to take it with me anyways. Then we went around the city for the last time. We also went to the top of the hill that overlooked the whole place. It was a sight to be seen. Shortly after, it started raining, so we decided to make short stops to see my other family members before going back to the airport. When we got to the airport, Karen was very emotional, and we had to depart. I ended up staying for a week and realized my family members couldn't come to the U.S. due to visa issues. That was my first time flying alone. If you thought my trip was adventurous, you all should sit down and wait while Kiara tells you about the chair.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Whatever, it worked. Yeah, I'm okay. It was the day of my 6th grade promotion. I already knew that day was gonna be chaotic because my brothers were graduating as well. The day started off pretty much like every other school day. Everyone was getting ready, doing their typical morning routine, and since it was my promotion, I had to wear something dressy. I wore this white dress with pink, blue, and purple flowers and some white shoes. As soon as everyone was ready, we left. When I got to school, I was sent to my class so they could collect all the students and put us in the orders that we've been practicing for the last couple of weeks. Once most of the students arrived, they took us to line up at the cafeteria entrance, also used as the school auditorium. The cafeteria was decorated with red paper that represented a red carpet, which wasn't really unusual to the students because they would use paper for everything, which created a path to the door entrance and rows of chairs on both sides of the paper. Once everything was ready, we started. We walked in and sat down. On the stage sat the principal, vice principal, my teachers, and a police officer. About 20 minutes in the ceremony, a commotion came from behind the students. All the students except me turned around out of curiosity. I didn't turn around because I just knew. I knew something was going on, and it was involving someone that I knew. All of a sudden, the police officer jumped off the stage and went running. After the police officer arrives back on the stage, the vice principal proceeds to say, "Please be courteous of the seating arrangements." Now I know you're probably wondering what happened for the police to react like that, so let's rewind a bit. So my brothers and dad got there late because of their graduation, and seats were already limited. They found a section to sit at. One of my brothers had to take my little cousin to the bathroom, so his seat was now open. So some lady decides to take his seat. So my other brother said, "Someone was sitting there." Cricket, cricket, cricket. She just ignored him. So he told her again with a little more force, "Someone is sitting there." Cricket, cricket, cricket again. The lady decided to continue sitting there. So my grandma, she a black grandma, so you know she don't tolerate any disrespect, okay? Said, "Are you deaf or something?" He said someone was sitting there. She still didn't move, so my grandma stands up. And since my grandma stood up, her sisters, with their cane, started to stand up too. They was about to fight the lady. And that's when the police officer darted off the stage. He broke up the commotion and told them to stop, or they're gonna get kicked out. The ceremony continued. Yeah, so that's how my family almost got kicked out of my promotion over a chair. If you thought that back and forth was entertaining, let Maya tell her experience with the back and forth.
Okay. Hello. Hi. Okay. So this story takes place during my time at community college. I had a fairly good time while I was there, little to no issues, until my last semester. One day, I received an email saying that the school was issuing me a refund. Now, usually this wouldn't be an issue, except for the fact that I was on a scholarship that paid for my tuition, so there was nothing to refund. So I decided to ignore it, thinking that it was sent to be my mistake. The next day, I get the same email again. Then the day after, I get it again, and again, and again. Eventually, a week has gone by, and I've gotten the same email at exactly 8 p.m. every day. So at this point, I've decided that I need to talk to someone and figure out what's going on. So the following week, I went to the cashier's office, and there was only one person behind the counter, an old man that looked like he had seen better days. And we'll call this guy Gerald. And after waiting a few moments, Gerald called me up to the counter. And after I explained the situation to him, he looked at me as if I had suddenly grown 3 new heads. And I knew this wasn't a typical ask, but come on, man, I don't want to be here any more than you do. So Gerald sighs, and at a snail's pace, moves over to his computer as if it was this huge, arduous task. Because how dare I ask him to do his job? So I waited a couple more minutes to see if he could figure out why this happened and how to fix it. He then motioned to a woman to help him, and she comes over and tells me that they've removed the refund. And I quickly checked my phone and looked to my account and see that it had, in fact, been removed. I thank her, I refuse to look at Gerald, and I go on about my day. A week or so later, I got an email. Same thing, different day, that the school owes me a refund. And okay, I know what some of y'all might be thinking. Girl, just take the money and go. But here's the thing. I don't want to get in any trouble with the school by taking money that doesn't belong to me. I just want to finish the semester and get my degree. So I went back to the cashier's office, and guess who was at the counter again? Now, I'm thinking that maybe I just caught him on a bad day before, and surely this time he will be in a better mood. But as soon as I went up to that counter, I quickly realized that a frown was permanently etched onto this man's face. So I remind him of who I am, and I tell him that I received the refund email again, hoping that he would know why this is all happening. He did not. Thankfully, someone else comes up to me and offers some assistance. After explaining the situation again, she goes to my account, sees what's going on, and tells me that there was a malfunction in the system, whatever that means. She then removes the refund from my account, and I hesitantly thank her and leave, hoping that I will never have to step foot in this office again. So after all of that, a couple more weeks went by, and it seemed that the issue had finally been resolved. But then, on graduation day, I got an email. Thank you. Now, if you thought what happened to me might have been lucky, wait until you hear Angela's story about her being unlucky.
Sorry, I can never get used to this lighting. All right. Fortunately, I'm never gonna grow either. Hold on.
And now for a commercial break.
Thank you. No, I'm good. Thank you. All right. All right. I never thought I'd see the day of my graduation. I have never been academically gifted or determined to make a presentable transcript. I'm so serious, I haven't seen it myself. Now, I was a freshman doing virtual as a dance major, pretending my Wi-Fi shut off. I'd be like, huh? What did you say? Huh? Turn it off. Call it a day. I just didn't feel like participating, although the email I sent later that day would be sent just fine. I wonder why. I was a sophomore breaking down at the side of my school because they would literally suck the life out of me. I was a junior that never recovered from sophomore year, therefore it was still 2021 in my mind. And I wasn't even lucky enough to say I even had a consciousness. But I digress. My junior year took a turn when I met this girl. Gorgeous girl. I would literally give my life for her. I barely had spoken a few words. She would tell me I'm easy to talk to. I'd be all giddy. I'm like, what? Anyway, she had gentle wavy hair, clear brownish frames for glasses, and eyes that would smile when she would smile, and she played the flute. To this day, she doesn't believe me, but Sam was the coolest person I had ever met. Fast forward a couple of months, it's now March 3rd, 2023. I received a text from Sam saying, I have such an awful feeling about today. I can feel it in my balls. And I was like, okay. No, that's not something to joke about. Like, I believe her. But anyway, the day transitioned smoothly. We went from first to second to third period. I would visit the band room regularly during my lunchtime to be with her. So far, the prophecy didn't come true, and we were still having our usual routine. The band room was pretty large with an unusual ceiling. I thought I was seeing stars the first time I saw it. I was like, please don't come down. There was percussion instruments in the far back, trophies practically everywhere, and this room looked like a prison cell hall for like instruments. It could also store like literal human bodies when there was a lockdown. Keep that in mind. Now, me and Sam, we would move around a lot. We would simply talk, and the conversations were always my favorite. Lunch ended, and we were headed to class. We bumped into my cousin. Now, my cousin is a short-tempered girl to match how short she actually was. She joined us, and we decided to skip class. Not an unusual activity. My cousin had the dumb idea to have a bag of, let's say, trees with her. Me being the person I am, I didn't refuse, and neither did Sam. I was mainly looking for a response to influence mine, but all the signs were pointing to go ahead, so we did. I guess my cousin had a thing for adrenaline and always wanted to do such a thing in a school bathroom, which I'm like, well, we have different ideas of adrenaline, but... My school was practically massive, almost like a maze, and there was a bathroom on each floor in each building. We moved from third floor and C building to first floor and B building, where my cousin began to, do her thing, grinding on that little box and her eyes popping out of her head because she's practically blind and she could not afford losing any of it. In the meantime, we were talking. I was practically staring at Sam, noticing her body language, but also trying to be goddamn Kevin Hart of the situation, just like, what? What is going on? Okay, anyway. In the meantime, we were talking, personally, I was very nervous. We were inside some stall, and believe it or not, it was really crowded on the outside, voices overlapping everywhere and whatnot. I was honestly very overstimulating, but at last it was ready. I felt a sharp wave travel from my chest all the way to my fingertips, but I seemed so confident. With every blow, each complex thought turned into a laugh. Everything was a blur up until this drum-obliterating voice could be heard right outside. They were like, everybody get out! I was like, oh my God. Now you could hear the footsteps coming from a mile away. Or so they said, because I wasn't concerned about that at the moment. So as the footsteps approached the door, they're like, security. Oh, brother, you don't have to say that. I know who you are. But I was like, you chose this day to do your job. I see you flirting at everything that moves every other day. What's going on?
So obviously, we're guided up to the office, and we're, checked down and everything. I couldn't even muster up the words to say, we were screwed. So once we were there, we were all practically being borderline assaulted. This lady came up behind me, started patting me down on my chest like I got something to hide in here. Eyes kept diverting over the sand, and we have this thing where we can communicate with our eyes, so I just knew she could feel her heart in her throat. So this guy, he had to try to contact our parents one by one. I was close to saying I didn't have a parent or guardian. In fact, I don't even go here. But of course, I'm joking, I wasn't going to do that, So I decided to call my dad. My dad, right? I wasn't going to call my mom. Because my mom's the type of person to pretend to have a car condition when I'm behind the wheel and I'm driving. So she's like, stop. Please stop. Slow down. Meanwhile, I'm just trying to make a neighborhood stop. Calm down, shorty. Okay. Anyway. At last, my dad comes. Sam's parents didn't pick up, so I had to leave her behind. And the last thing I asked her was if she was okay. And she nodded her head yes. That was all that happened. My dad pulled up, and he was pretty cool. I mean, that guy's pretty laid back, like one of those very deluxe chairs. He was like, if you wanted something, you could have just asked me. So I spent days getting wild accusations from my mom, like wild. But also, to this day, she doesn't drop it. Like, I could get a whiff of, like, weed somewhere out there, and she'd be like, oh, you know about that, right? You know about that? Like, okay. So, I also spent days without any way to reach out to Sam. I was about to literally train a pigeon to send letters. Yeah, I was about to take it back, that far back. Anyway, moving forward, I did actually graduate. I did manage to pull it out. I'm still mad impressed at myself. And it made me realize that there was so much to look forward to going to school, and that connections you make are so important. And it makes it something that makes it really hard to say goodbye is a real blessing in disguise. But that's when I knew I became the luckiest individual alive.
Hey, y'all. Yeah, this is doggy abduction. On a chilly fall evening, there was an owner and their dog, Lulu and August. As the sun began to rest, August realizes that it's time to take Lulu out to use the bathroom. August throws on their coat, straps in their slides, and makes their way downstairs. Lulu, August calls out. Lulu came running over, revealing a cute little brown chihuahua with a face that can make a whole country go, "Aww." It's time to put on your coat. Lulu stomps her feet in anger because she's like, I don't want to put that dingy coat on. I know you want to, but it's cold outside, August says. Lulu gives in because she knows those tiny little legs can't handle that fall weather. They head out back, go potty. Lulu runs out to the grass while August sips on some mint tea. Lulu is sniffing and something catches her nose. She looks back, checking if August is watching. They are. Don't go too far, August warns. Lulu is confident, as most chihuahuas are, and headed onto this unpredictable adventure. Across the yard, behind trees, snip, snip, past fallen logs, stronger, stronger, the scent got. Past houses? Wait, past houses? Okay, never mind, I must keep sniffing, Lulu thinks to herself. Stronger and stronger the scent got. She's anticipating what this new discovery will be, but not really paying attention to her surroundings. Faster and faster she's going. I've gotten it! Lulu thinks. Bam! Lulu's face smacks against some object, throwing her against the ground. She quickly regains her stability, looks up, and sees something unrecognizable. This object starts looking down at her, revealing its otherworldly features. Ears for eyes, eyes for ears, its mouth on its neck, 4 arms, 6 fingers to one hand and 4 to the other. What the fuck is that? Lulu says. She got the message and started making a run for it. Let me get my buck back inside, Lulu says. As she runs for it, makes a run for it, for the house, she realizes that she's nowhere near home. Fuck it, I gotta get out of here. She keeps running in the direction of home but can't catch her scent. All she smells are those creatures. As she runs, she feels something come up behind her. She looks back and sees one of those creatures reaching out for her. No! She screams, August, help me! But they're nowhere to be found. Suddenly, Lulu feels something being injected into her skin, and she slowly loses consciousness. Ah! Let me go! She's laying on her back, stripped of her clothing, scared for her life. Calm down, she hears. But she continues to wiggle and scream. No, don't kill me, please. Girl, calm down. We're not going to hurt you. She stops wiggling on the spot with the look of confusion on her face. You can understand me? Wait, hold on. Where am I? What are y'all? What are you going to do to me? Well, that's a lot of questions. Long story short, we come from a very cold planet. We're testing cold weather tech. We saw a cute little creature like you wearing such dated clothing like a coat and thought you deserved better. As for being to understand you, we're just cool like that. Oh, well, that was anticlimactic. So what are y'all gonna do about that dingy coat? Watch this. The creature pulls out this neon purple gun-looking device. Lulu's eyes are beaming with interest. They point the device at Lulu's coat, pulling the trigger, making its way through the coat. Smoke starts to fill the air. It starts turning into something she's never seen before. As the smoke clears, Lulu starts to recognize what it is. An infinity scarf? Girl, you gotta be kidding me. Some type of new tech. Wait, just give us a chance. Yeah, all right. She puts on the scarf, looks in the mirror. Wait, this kind of eats. And I feel so... I feel so warm. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like my whole body. So that's it? You had to kidnap me for a scarf? My bad. You started running before we could even get our picture out. The scarf is yours. I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting it to be so funny. The aliens proceed to fly Lulu home. As she arrives with her fly new scarf on her neck, she jumps into August's arms, missing her warm owner. Engulfed in their happiness, August notices something different. Where did you get this scarf? And where's your coat? Lulu has no response, but she sees a glare in the window. It's her little alien friend giving her a wink. And Lulu will always know that getting this scarf was the greatest adventure of her life. Lulu had some crazy times with them aliens, but let's hear about how Allison is having crazy car troubles. Give it up for Allison.
Hello. Okay. So I am an introvert. I never really liked talking to people or socializing because I don't like how rude people are, especially to 16-year-old Starbucks employees who get paid minimum wage. But anyways, I naturally chose to stay away from people and interactions. But one day, my little bubble would break the day my car broke down. It was after school, and since I'm a senior, I get out like midday. And I wanted to run to my car, but I didn't, because that's embarrassing. And so I get in my car and try to put the key in the ignition, and I try to start it, and it just won't go. I keep trying, and it won't start. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do now? So I call my sister, but she was no help. She was just like, go ask someone to help you. You have the cable in the back of the car. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I refused to ask someone. There were so many people around me, but I didn't want to talk to anyone. So then I call one of my homeboys to see if he could pick me up. I call him, and I ask, are you working? He says, yes. And so then I'm like, dang it, now I don't have a plan. Then I started thinking, what should I do? I didn't want to ask anyone for help, so I contemplated calling the police or taking an Uber home. But it was getting late, and I had to go to work. As I'm giving up, I look up, and I see a girl with red hair. Oh my God, it's Kelly. She's my friend. So I text her. After a couple texts, I ask her if she could help me jumpstart my car. And she's like, yeah, sure. I just don't know how. She parks next to me, and then we're just standing there clueless because we're girls and we don't know anything. Not saying that, sorry. Don't believe the stereotypes. Anyways, we were actually clueless. We don't know anything about cars. That's like our parents' job. So she sees a group of like friends, a group of boys, whatever. They're standing there in their car, and she's like, why don't we go ask them for help? And I'm like, no, they're not gonna wanna help us. She's like, come on, Allison, let's just go. And I'm like, no. And so I just stand in my car, and she goes up to them instead, well, alone, without me. And I expected them to not want to help us, and I started going on YouTube to try to look for videos, but to my surprise, they all came. And they were really nice. WikiHow and YouTube really saved us that day because they also had no idea how to jumpstart a car. So after 5 minutes, we get the cables out and we start to do the whole little process thing. We thought we were gonna explode because apparently if you touch the cables once it's on the car, like you could die. But whatever, we lived. And then out of nowhere comes this mechanic that was in front of me, parked the whole time. He's like, oh guys, I know about cars. I'm like, where were you the whole time? But whatever. So we do the whole thing, and I go in to try to start my car. Once, it wouldn't turn on. Second time, also wouldn't turn on. And so we were about to give up. But then I was like, guys, just let me try one more time, because I didn't want to leave my car there. And so I tried one more time, and I pressed on the gas, and then, vroom, it turned on. And then we were also happy. It was great. And from this, I learned that it's okay to ask for help, and 9 times out of 10, people are much nicer than you think. So, okay. Thank you. But I'm not the only one who has bad luck with cars. Wait till you hear this next crazy car fiasco. Everyone, last but not least, give it up for Matthew.
Hello? Hold on. Wait. Miss Raina?
And now a word from our sponsors. There you go.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, guys. Okay, let me tell y'all. So, my dad taught me how to drive when I was 9 years old. So, by the time I was 12 and could reach the pedals, baby, I could have been casting on Fast and Furious. Okay? So, when I was 14, toward the end of my freshman year of high school, I started sneaking out. I wasn't doing nothing crazy, though. I wasn't doing nothing crazy. My friends, we would just go and get snacks and then go back home. But you know, for some reason, everything is 10 times more fun at night. But one particular night, during spring break, my friend, we'll call him Skis, and we decided to go to McDonald's. Now, usually our friend Rambo, usually our friend Rambo would come with us. But this time he decided not to come because he had a bad feeling. And it wasn't lying to him either. So it's 1 a.m., my parents are asleep. I look for my dad's keys, and I creep out the back door, and then I go pick up Skis. So I pull up to his house, and I see him struggling to climb out his office window. So he finally climbs out, and now we're laughing on the way to McDonald's. So aside from Rambo's gut feeling, I should have known that I was going to go left when I hit the drive-through curb. So we order our low vibrational 10-piece nuggets and our McDoubles, and we had Rambo on FaceTime, so no child was left behind. So Skis and I do this thing where we like playfully argue, and then we fight, like we throw hands or whatever. And yeah, but this wasn't the time to be doing that. But he decides to start with me like he always does, and y'all know I had to finish it. So after a few crazy, outlandish words, we start throwing hands, all while I'm behind the wheel with my foot on the brake, until it wasn't. And my dad's gray GMC pickup truck is rolling forward and hits the gray 2006 Toyota Camry that sat in front of us. Me and Skis stop mid-swing and look at each other like deers in headlights. We turn our heads and see a 20-something-year-old white man start getting out his car. Be cool. It's okay. Just act normal. Rambo is still on FaceTime, and he's perplexed after he hears Skis say that. My heart is pounding, y'all, like out of my chest. It's so loud, you could probably hear it over the guy saying, "Dude, you just hit my car." I'm like, you're being extra. Like, it was a little love tap, but okay. So using a little bit of breath that I had, I say, I'm sorry. He takes a deep breath and walks to go check the damage. Y'all, he was so pissed off. So after hearing all this, Rambo is like, pull off. And he didn't even have to tell me twice before I put the truck in reverse and stomped on the gas. Beep! Oosh. I slammed right into the car behind me. And there was definitely some damage there. I'm so sorry to whoever that was, but I didn't have time to worry about that. Baby, I had to get up out of there. So the 7-minute drive to Skis' house, it turned into 3 minutes when we saw a raging 2006 Toyota Camry follow us out that parking lot. He looks in the back window. He's like, "Nigga, that's him!" So I start panicking even more than I already was. I'm like, oh my God. So at that moment, I'm no longer Matthew Martin. Baby, this is Paul Walker. I'm swerving down Marlboro Pike, and I'm thanking God that there were no other cars on the road at that time, with this man chasing behind us like we had 5 stars on GTA. If you know, you know. I almost flipped the truck the way I swerved onto Lago Road, and here he comes swerving right behind me. And even though this time he was further back, Skis is still screaming, "Go, go, 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 go!" And I'm still silently panicking. So Rambo is just sitting on the phone, crying, laughing. Our trauma was the funniest thing ever to him. But a sense of relief starts to creep up on me the closer we get to Skis' neighborhood. And as soon as I was right up on it, skirt, I made a hard left into his neighborhood. And thankfully, we lost the guy. I was finally able to breathe again. We don't go directly to Skis' house, though. Instead, we make another turn just in case the guy decided to follow us. So we parked in front of a random house and got out to check the car. Out of breath from panicking, yelling, screaming. Oh my God, wait, where am I? Oh, screaming. We run to the front of the truck. No damage, thank God. We run to the back of the truck. The bumper is slightly discombobulated, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not too bad, though. Like, you won't notice it unless you look hard enough. So Skis and I hug, and we part ways. And now I'm on my way home, listening to Rambo explain his point of view of the story. The sound of me backing into the car, the sound of the engine revving, Skis' voice cracking, me silently panicking, the swerves. It's like Apple product microphones just catch everything for some reason. So I get home and sneak back inside with a lesson learned. Do not throw hands if you're behind the wheel. A few months later, my sister noticed the slight damage on the back of my dad's truck. And since my bedroom window, it faces the main street where we park at, my dad asked me if I heard anyone slam into his truck. And y'all know what I had to say. No. Exactly. And now I know, now I have my own car, so I don't have to steal his. Thank you. So y'all got the trauma dumps, the jump scares, the hee-hees, and the ha-has. So it was only right that I came up here to kiki with y'all for a little bit. But don't miss me too much while my girl is up here wrapping it up. Let's hear it from Miss Rena.